Hey, I'm Luis.
And I'm Luis.
And you're listening to the Content is Profit podcast.
So, how do businesses and creators like us, who did not cheat with hacks and tactics and don't want to be stuck in the content wheel of death, how do we build a modern media team and profit from our content?
In this creators economy, pre-filled templates and content calendars have become the solution for those that are not willing to put in the work and build a real business. Those that get rewarded are the ones that create and control their process.
Content can be a distraction or your biggest lever. Here, you learn to develop the systems to create consistently, build trust with your audience, and get the attention of those that are willing to give you money.
Go to contentisprofit.com to get started today and join the community.
That is right. You know what? Since I've been editing the podcast a few days, I've been noticing that when we go from my first paragraph to your second paragraph, we need a little bit more of like more power in it. A little bit more.
More humps?
More
Okay.
Yeah, like emphasis.
Noted. But Fonzie, tell me, what are we talking about today?
Today we have an incredible guest here today, and we're going to be talking all about never chase clients or compete for the lowest price ever again.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
This is very enticing topic.
Tell me more. Tell me more. But before we tell me more, do we have a sponsor today, Fonzie? What's happening?
We do. Thank you for asking. And today's sponsor is your own, the BIZBROS. Yes, we sponsor our own podcast with content momentum. If you produce a long-form piece of content and you need us to multi-purpose it for you, of course, and help you maximize your efforts and amplify your impact, please make sure to slide in the DMs at BIZBROSCO on Facebook, on Instagram.
Ooh, baby. Hey, guys. I'm asking you a favor. Go ahead and follow the show, please. On Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, all these awesome interviews and value and golden boulders are right there on your phone for you to take action and crush life, crush business, and help so many. So go ahead and follow the show, and on social media as well at BIZBROSCO.
I have a question for you.
Is that the humps?
Do you need the coffee?
No, I'm high on coffee today. I'm good. I don't need any more.
That's right, guys. And if today's guests help you move one step closer to your goal, please don't forget to share this episode because you might be doing the exact same thing for somebody else. Let's get this party started.
And we are back. Today we have an incredible entrepreneur referred to us by the one and only Devin Brown. You know this is about to be awesome.
That is right. He's not only came referred by Devin, but he's actually a brand advisor and messaging mentor for him and many others. If you want to maximize your business growth and impact and stop chasing clients, this conversation is for you.
Today's guest also bootstrapped a handcrafted flooring company with a negative bank account all the way to a six-figure company. Let's go. He's an action taker. He's also the host of the Advocate of Awesome Business Growth Squad on Clubhouse, which has over 130 shows.
I know. I'm not gonna lie. Like the way he shared that with us in the forum that we shared, it was like he was so proud of that. So I can't wait to dig into this community that he has built.
Yes,
absolutely amazing. Can't wait to dig deeper. And please welcome the Advocate of Awesome and the messaging sensei, Nathan Kettler.
What's up?
What's up, Nathan?
Dude, I'm so excited to be here. Thank y'all for having me. I'm amped up. Devon told me that he was like, I had so much fun hanging out with those guys. He's like, you got to go over there and meet them. So I'm stoked to be here, y'all.
Oh, man, thank you so much. And, we've talked once or twice before. We connected. We dove deep on, all this marketing stuff on. And I'm like, tell me all the secrets. And then you started telling me all the secrets. I'm like, no, actually stop, because you need to tell all the secrets here on the show. So, Nathan, for those who are, getting to know you a little bit, like what's your story? Like, why do you do what you do, right? Like, we all come from different backgrounds and we feel so passionate about this on how to grow businesses, the messaging aspect of it, that so many skip, right? And it's so important. I'm so
curious. Sorry, I'm so curious to like the handcrafted flooring company, to messaging mentor. So many questions.
I love it. Yeah. So the mic is yours, my man.
Okay, man. Well, thank you so much. There's two parts of it. There's the decorative concrete part, and there's the messaging why I do that now. But where it started was 18 years ago. I was doing decorative concrete in Arizona, and it was hot as anything out there, right? And this guy was like, "Hey, you want to come in and grab a drink and, the AC?" And I was like, "Definitely." And go in, and he's got this Venetian plaster thing in his wall, and I was just like, "Man, that's really cool." And he just kind of leans back and he's like, "Yeah, that right there, that was Giuseppe." I'm like, "Excuse me?" And he's like, "Listen, the guy that we got to do that, he lives 6 months out of the year on a yacht in Italy. And if you're lucky enough to get him to do a project," I mean, he doesn't even do projects this small. We had to pay for a project 3 times the size of this just to get him to do the project. And then he started just going on this story about Giuseppe and like how much of a privilege it was to get him to do work for them. And I was like, wait, this is different. You know what I mean? Like I want to be Giuseppe. And and then that was in Arizona in 2006. I opened a decorative concrete company called Faux Real Surfaces in Georgia. And I was doing word of mouth. I did a really cool countertop with like this Soho city skyline and Swarovski crystals. It was like super cool. So I got some business off of that. And then 2009 came, right? And all of a sudden, like the price of stone dropped, the price of everything, like the market, everything just stopped. And so I tried to do what I knew how to do for marketing, and it just didn't work. And the company just went under. I just couldn't keep it going. But in that, I'd built websites and I'd done, stuff. And so this is 2008, 2009. I'm doing WordPress. And then I got into the SEO game, and I started doing SEO for attorneys, and it was really cool. They just want to be at the top of the list. They don't actually even care if that traffic converts. It was a total ego thing. Wow. And then I'm like, oh, I can get people results. So I started doing this for other people. Well, they cared about conversion. And it was like, well, I can get you all this traffic. You're number one on Google. All these people, like, yeah, but nobody's buying. And that was probably 2010. And I was like, this is something different, like conversion. And that's when I got into direct response. And I knew how to get traffic, and I was learning direct response. So I would do affiliate sites and content marketing. I had some stuff in the psoriasis remedy space and just different things under different ghost names, trying to figure out if I can get traffic and I can get conversions, like how do I make money? And I did that for a while. And then I just, was like, I don't like building websites. I don't like, what is it that I like? And then I was on a beach trip in 2011. And on the way back, we had a tape player in the thing. And so we bought this tape series at Goodwill, and it was The Psychology of Achievement by Brian Tracy. On the way back, I got like unlocked. Listening to all these stories, I went from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Wow. And even though I'd failed at this decorative concrete company before, and didn't mean I was a failure, just I didn't know what I didn't know then, and all these different things. And that experience of this program from Brian Tracy's been around since like 1984. And here it was 2012, and I'm just learning about it. Like that was what it was, is on one hand, there's people that are struggling, and they may or may not know what the answer is, but they're over here struggling. And on the other hand, there's people that are desperately trying to get their stuff out to people that desperately want to help. But for whatever reason, they're not able to communicate that value. They're not able to communicate, yes, I can actually help you, in a way that moves people to action. And so it's a tragedy. There's people that need the help and people that want to give it, but they're not coming together. And so that experience with my marketing and all that was like, this is what I want to do. I want to be able to help people get their message. And as I, learned stuff and lost 75 pounds and stopped smoking and did all this things, I'm like, I want to be able to help everybody do all this. But like, I'm not an expert in all of that. So like, how can I help people? And I realized that for the last, and this is 2014, 15, I'm realizing I've been studying this for 5-6 years. I'm really good at it. And I've always been a lifetime teller of stories. I want to help people do this. Well, in order to do that, I need to generate some more money. So I figured, I know a whole bunch more now. Let me see if I can be Giuseppe. right? Let me see if I can do this with the decorative concrete company. And so in 2015, I'd done a floor for somebody that builds high-end motors. And then I got a call from somebody else. And I went to bid this 20,000 square foot project. And I told my lady, I said, if we get this, like, I'm back in the flooring thing, but I'm doing it totally different. And so that's, I was able to show them, some of my work, and we got back into it. And then it became, ironically, you said negative bank account. It was negative 36, 37. And you know that because it was that $36 NSF fee on top of the 37 cents that I went negative. That was a check that cleared. And I'll never forget that amount, because it was like, I'm in contracts for this and the guy's cutting me a check. And I'm like, I got to cash a $16,000 check because I can't put it in my bank account. I can't let him know that. So I got to have a different day. It was a thing because you have to present yourself a certain way.
Yeah.
But from that, I was able to bootstrap this business and be known as a craftsman, as an artisan, and not even for the fancy stuff that I do. This is the coolest part, is I was known as a craftsman for the simple things that everyone else can do. The garage floor that a million other people can do, that's the thing that people appreciated most and sold the most, not because it was the most different, but because I could communicate my value and give them a story that no one else could give. And so that's how it wraps in with concrete. And then with Devon, 4 years ago, I met him on Craigslist, and he's just an amazing, you already know, person. And we met, and I was like, why aren't you famous already? Like, let's work together. Let's do this, and let's get your message out to people. Like, and then I discovered how good of an MC he was. Like, I don't know if you guys know, but like, I've also dubbed him, he's the $150 million MC. Like, events he did over $150 million in 2 years. Like, do you not realize that you're like amazing? And so I have a tendency to see people's magic and be able to pull it out and then communicate it in a way that they can resonate, that the market can resonate, and that everybody can see the unique value. And so that's my thing. That's my long story. Sorry if it drug on, but it's two different parts. So that's how it comes together.
I love it. I'm particularly interested in, because I see some similarities, right? Like the thing that everybody does. And, obviously we're talking content. This is something that we've been like diving in over the last 2 years, is like, hey, like this is like handcrafted content, right? Like, and I remember talking about it, right? And it resonated so much that for the thing that you did, you were known as a craftsman, as like the person to go to creating these experiences because of the stories that are behind it, right? And sometimes we're so in it, right? So in the execution that is so hard to pull out of that execution day to day or with the team or that, to be able to frame those stories and frame that message to the point where the perception of somebody on the outside can be a little bit different, right? Like, you are different, right? And if, you can be better, absolutely. But, we've talked about the difference of being the best, being better. Like, everybody competes on that, right? So how do we compete on being different? And that has been an interesting journey for us to take, right? And I want to encourage everybody, like with their own business, start thinking on how are you different. We got introduced, what was the book? Hold on, it's right here.
Well, you look for the book. I actually made a tweet yesterday that says, different is better than better. Better is for average marketers. Different is for category creators. Better drive future-driven customers. Different drives evangelists. Use your words wisely.
I love that. Do you want a real quick hack to uncover differentiation in your market?
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
So one of the things that I learned, and this was in the decorative concrete space, doing garage floors, everyone else does, is when my clients were happy, when they said thank you, when they showed appreciation, I would ask them, hey, what's something unexpected about this experience that you really enjoyed? What's something you got that you didn't think you were going to get that you really enjoyed? And from that, you can find out. For me, I found out it was the installation experience and a couple of other things from listening to different people. But that question can actually help get your customer to tell you what your differentiation is. And I mean, there's nothing better than to know what it is that the customer values and how they differentiate you. I'm just telling you that hack will set you up for communicating value.
That's amazing. I want to like inject here an action point for the listener right now is go to your previous customers and ask them that question, right? Like what stood out from the service that you offer them, from, you know, the product that you deliver them, or the relationship that you guys build, and they're gonna literally give you your differentiation. How can we go? Your differentiator factor. Is that factor? Differentiator factor?
Your yeah. I don't know. So I love Nathan because we had a conversation not so long ago with one client that was getting onboarded, right? And I asked a question in a different, like through the process, right? And we have this stage where we deliver the content in a website called Content Hub, right? And they immediately were like, "That's why I signed up with you. That's why we came to you guys." And I'm like, wow. And the Content Hub was a thing that was born out of frustration from the clients, frustration from us that, you know, when we deliver the content, some people don't have an organized drive, or like it can be really challenging to grab this content from those pieces, right? Talking specifically to our product. So we saw an opportunity and we're like, okay, how can we solve that for them? Where we can create a space where it's super organized, super like, every single week you get the stuff right there where you can plug in your team and different things, right? And it came out of solving that issue. It turned out to be one of our biggest selling points after the fact, because a lot of people experience that pain with different companies or different things. Like the learning curve on those delivery systems is just really hard, where, you know, for us was, here's your website, you know, nathancontenthub.com. Your content is going to be there. You want to send us content? Everything is in there, right? And it was such a massive eye-opening for us that was the thing. So going back and now to your question, right, on like, we should be doing this more often, 100%. And everybody listening should too, because then we can use that as a tool to, okay, this is a cool story that we can share with different customers and different things that elevate the service or elevate the product that we put out to market. What has been like a cool story that way, how do you discover that, right? Like, because if you're in it, it can be challenging to go there. So was it by chance? Was it by a mentor? Like, how did you discover that? And do you remember the first time that you did it?
Yeah, as far as figuring out that differentiator, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, storytelling and messaging is like direct response copywriting is what I've been, had been studying for years and years. So when it came to testimonials, when it came to trying to extract that information, I know I got to get a story out of my clients. I can't just be like, so did you like it? Yeah, it was great. Like, what's that doing for anybody, right?
Yep.
And so, right, content is profit, but what is that content saying? And so not all testimonials are created equal. And so it was basically, hey, what was the struggle that brought you here? What were you dealing with before you came here? Right. And then you get that. And then what are some other things you looked at? What are the other things that you wanted to try? And then why did you pick me instead of those other things? That was the first, because if you can figure that out, then you know what to lean on your sales, right? And then from there, it's, wow, okay, so tell me about the experience. And then they're like, yeah, it was amazing. It was super clear. You did this, you did that. And then you go, what? That's makes me so happy to hear that. Can you tell me, was there anything unexpected about the experience that just stood out to you that you really, really enjoyed? And then it was the first time I asked that was, again, just going through as a standard to ask testimonials, writing that up and going through that story. When I got the answers, I was like, that's something special. Like, that's different than all the other ones. And then you end that out with, who would you recommend that this is for? Right? Who else is this product would be a good fit for? Mm-hmm. And then they'll say anybody that yada, yada, yada. And then if you're really, really, really going good and you want to turn that testimonial into a referral, at the end of them naming the type of person, you can ask them, hey, like, just off camera and whatever, but could you think of the name of one person like that that we could maybe, do, and that will take it from, you don't have to give me that name now, but just, is there one person you can think of, and that'll narrow it down and be more likely to get you a referral. So, I mean, I'm always looking at messaging and storytelling on how to move people to action, because if you have a product or service or knowledge that has the power to transform and level up someone's life or business, then the question is, how do you get the people that need it to take the action they need to take so they can receive that transformation, right? You can create the best content snippets, and you can divide it up, and you can distribute it in the way that it needs to. But if they're not creating the content, if they're not coming to you, if they're not bringing it to you, there's nothing you can do to help them. And so I'm just always looking at it from that standpoint. But once you give them that story, a story helps people go to action. A story is duplicatable. So that's where it came from. And then I just noticed, okay, they're saying something different here, and they're telling me what they want. And they didn't even know what they want, because when you're selling something, you could talk about what they need. And as experts, you know content better than anybody else. So you might start talking about these things that they need, but we don't even know we need it yet. Right? And so we need to hear what we want. And as experts, we have a tendency to talk about what people need rather than what they want. And so this is a good way to uncover it.
Yeah, it's kind of like the saying, I think it goes something like, sell them what they want, give them what they need, right? And for us, the perfect example of that was when we started kind of like diving into Steve Larson's content, and he was talking all about, the offers and all this stuff. And we ended up he sold us right on that. And we ended up going to his live event. And on his live event, he's like, well, we're going to start all the way back here, because yes, you want the offers, but none of this is going to work if you don't have the foundations, right? This knowledge about marketing. Yeah. And that's when we realized he sold us what we wanted, but he's giving us what we need.
But he also, and I know, I followed Steve Larson for a long time. He also gave you what you wanted.
Exactly.
And that's an important distinction, because if you promise somebody what they want and you give them what they need, that feels like clickbait. Yeah. Right. So if you promise somebody, if you sell them what they want and you deliver what they want and what they need, they will love you forever. But if you sell them what they want and you deliver what they want, but they don't get what they need, they will regret doing business with you later. And if you sell them what they want and you give them only what they need, they will feel duped. So if you, so that's it. Sell them what they want, but make sure you deliver on both.
Yeah, I love it. And to bring it, I mean, obviously we're talking in the business sense, which is absolutely necessary, right? To have that out there, right? Especially for a lot of people that might be listening to this today, like keep an eye out, right? For those people, right? If you invest in a program, if you invest in a mastermind, if you invest in a course, are they actually delivering what you want, right? And I think that's so important, because nowadays, like, who do you trust, right? And I was just on a call with literally Steve Larson's media buyer, like the guy that runs all his ads, right? And we were on the phone for about an hour. We were like, how can we make something awesome happen, right? For future projects, teasers. But that was one of the things, right? It's like that was a big element. So bringing it back to content, for example, we go a lot into YouTube, right? We consume a lot of YouTube content, just trying to see what these creators are doing, what is the trend, how do they structure the whole thing, and thumbnails is a big thing, right? And there's a ton of creators out there that's like the clickbaity thumbnail, the clickbaity headline, that they express something, and then you watch the entire video, which is like a 20-minute video, and then nothing related happens, right? And you're like, what? Are you actually gonna go back?
You feel so betrayed when that happens. You're like, why? Even if the video was good and there was something good in there, you're like, what just happened?
Yeah, and then
they opened a loop that they didn't close,
exactly.
Right? And it leaves a psychological longing, and that's not good.
Yep.
Yeah. So translating that, right? Let's look at the principle, right? Translating that, that happens in content, but at the end of the day, am I gonna go back to that creator? Probably not. I just had a negative experience. So translate into your service, into your product, right? If we open that loop, we gotta close it and we gotta deliver 100%. So, for those listening, think about what's going on today with your business, right? I can imagine in the fitness side, right? For example, I was there for a long time. We're about to start a new project with a fitness company, and are we actually delivering the results, right? If you put in the work, you're actually going to get the results here. So what is it? And here's my framework that I will support you and help you in every step of the way to get that result. So I love this topic. I love it. I feel very passionate. So thank you for bringing everything out, Nathan.
Yeah, I want to add to it too. When you're doing that, you it doesn't go without saying, right? If you don't communicate it, I'm sorry. You know what? I had it and I totally lost it. So I'm not going to keep talking until I get it back.
It's a good. No worries.
Something good, but sorry.
If it comes back, boom, you can just drop it rather.
Do it again, yeah.
Yeah, feel free to interrupt us or even change topic 180 and we can go back to this stuff right here. But Nathan, I'm curious because previously you mentioned that you were pretty good at seeing people's magic, right? And I'm guessing that translates into your power of figuring out people's messages. And as we know, messaging is important. Like there's no good marketing without good messaging at the end of the day, right? And there's plenty of examples. One of our favorite ones is the soap. I think a lot of people know this one, right? It's like, it's not soap, it's Dove, right? And it's like, the way they position themselves, right? How are you positioning yourself in the marketplace is just key. So how do people what can they do to start seeing their own magic, right? Because I mean, we live in a noisy world. There are so many things. A lot of times we start doing research on competitors, what they do, right? And we start basing some of our own decisions. We start crafting this message around what we're seeing and maybe not necessarily on what we are perceiving from the customers, the people that we're helping. So what can people do to start seeing the magic just like you do?
So I love that. I'm going to say there's two things I'd like to share with that. I'm going to say that with the magic, seeing the magic is going to be for yourself. It's getting those testimonials and listening to what people say about you, right? That's the only way you can get it. You can't read the label from within the bottle. You can't see the frame from inside the picture. So unless you're going to look for feedback, I mean, you're just not going to know what other people are thinking. So that's going to be the thing. I mean, I tell people, you've heard you are the superhero of your own journey, right? Mm. But the thing with that is you're so busy acting out the scenes of the superhero. Every time you get it right, it took 50 takes to get that scene right? When you fly to the rescue and you save somebody, in your mind, you were strapped to a harness with a rickety wire that was about to break, praying to God. But we saw you fly. The market saw you do something amazing. And so the challenge is when we're being this hero in our own story, we're too busy acting behind the scenes. Sometimes we need somebody to cut out those, show us the magic that we really are, right? To be that editor in our life, to say, look at this. Did you see this? The way that we see it. Oh, no, I didn't. Right. And so that's something where you need squad. You need people around you that appreciate you, that value you, that are going to point these things out. Okay. So that's the part of uncovering it is keeping your ears open, but also connecting with people that aren't afraid of your growth, that want you to be amazing, that aren't going to, limit you. But then the part that you said, about we look at the competitors and we try and fit, and we're trying to be better than, and Russell's talked about that, right? Only 2% of the population wants to be better. We need something new and there's a few reasons for that psychologically. Anything we've failed at before. You guys ever heard you build a wall around your heart when you get a broken heart? Right, you heard that term?
So, I feel like I have.
Maybe the Hispanic version of it.
Say, you have a wall around your heart and you take down that wall.
Yeah.
Well, it's like this. Every time you get disappointment, there's a brick. But the more pain associated with that disappointment, the more bricks they're going to be. Right. So if you're like most adults, you don't build a wall. By the time you're an adult, you have a castle around your heart because you've been trying to protect yourself from all the times you've been disappointed. Well, if you're trying to do something in business, if you're trying to lose weight, you've tried that before. Somebody's let you down. Their programs failed you. You failed yourself. So you built a wall around a castle, wing of the castle around this disappointment. And so when you're trying to sell somebody, when you're trying to let them know, hey, I've got value for you, I can help you, you're not just selling against them, not like the problem. You're having to convince them that you have something different than what they failed at before, that why they failed before, and it's going to be different. And so understanding what they've tried before, understanding what's in the market and what's done them wrong helps you craft the beliefs that they need so they can know that your thing is unique, that your thing is different, that your thing is better, right? And then I've got a whole thing I call the periodic table of authentic awesome, which is how you kind of innovate your skills on demand. But that's a whole another story. We can get into it another point. But that's kind of how I look at it figure out, go to other people. You can't see the label from inside the bottle. Go to other people and believe them when they tell you what your magic is, right? And then understand where the market is, what they've tried, what they've failed, and then create solutions they've never seen, so that, or at least label them in ways they've never seen, so that they understand this is different.
Yeah, I love that point, and I know you want to say something here real quick.
Yes, I do.
The people just hate admitting that they were wrong. Right. And when they took a decision to give something a shot and that didn't work out, they don't want to accept that it didn't work out for them, that they were wrong at making that decision. So if we're presenting them with something just better, it's still kind of like in the same lane. They're still going to have to, like you said, you have to go past that wall. And the image in my head is literally like a crusade, like a castle. And just like, you're just trying to knock it down. But at the same time go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, that's the problem. You can't knock down the castle. If you attack my castle, I'm bringing out every defense mechanism I have to bear on you, and there's no way you're getting in. In fact, you have to get me to invite you into the castle so that I can dismantle those walls. And so I hear you, and that's what most people are doing. Let me attack these walls. No. You got to let me know this is something different. Hey, I'm not going to hurt you. Mm-hmm. I know that's hurt you. But listen, I got this. And so that's why we tell our stories to get in. But keep going. I just wanted to bring that up because a lot of us try and do that.
And I love it, right? Because at the end of the day is by being different, they don't have to accept that they were wrong, but they are just giving something new a chance. Right. And that chance, how does it look? They're letting you inside that castle. And then from the inside, like you said, you can start dismantle it. And it's extremely important for people to understand this because I see it all the time. They're just trying to be better. And I'm like, why? Like this thing. And also keep in mind, like just being better is going to drive the people that might be disappointed with the prices on something else, right? And they're going to be looking for lower prices, like future-based customers. They're going to be like, oh, you have one different feature than the other person. But as soon as somebody else do something better than yours with an extra feature, like they're just going to move on to the next thing. But by being different, right, you start creating, like the book Play Bigger, you start creating your category. You become the category king. You start getting the innovators, the early adopters, and those people become your biggest fans. They become your community, what you're building, right? The Advocate of Awesome Business Growth Squad, which we're gonna have to talk a little bit about that. But that is that's the deal right there. You gotta present them with a brand new opportunity for them to be successful or for them to deliver that value that you want to deliver.
Yeah. Two things, right? The first one is obviously we've talked about the walls at our previously on the show at a personal level, right? And we've like, okay, go to that person and ask him, why resonates, from you, like what are you good at, right? Like if you're trying to find like what are you good at an individual level, and sometimes we do that, and sometimes that's very scary to go out and be like, what do you think I'm good at, right? Like I remember going to Katie, my wife, and I'm like, babe, what do you think I'm good at? And she goes like, you're nice. And I'm like, really? That's the only answer you could come up with? And she's like, I don't want to hurt your feelings. And I'm like, just go, just hit me. Like, and she's like super honest, like with everything that she says, right? But it can be really scary. And then as you were explaining it, I'm moving that feeling into like the business, that your baby, the thing that you are building, the thing that so many people might depend on you, right? Like not this year that we built a team, like people depend on this thing to like move forward, right? So that could be a very challenging spot to go out and ask, hey, be honest with me. What do you think? Like the questions that we asked earlier, by the way, go to minute 14, go and re-listen that for like 4 times because it's incredible. But it can be really scary, right? But at the same time, it's a necessary path to discover those things, right? Because they're going to give you opportunities to fix and move forward, right? They're going to give you opportunities to craft your message and craft stories around those things, and it's just gonna be better. So I want to encourage everybody. I feel the pain, man, because we've been there, right? Especially with Content Momentum, with our service. It's been iterations after iterations of what we deliver, right? And to your point on the wall, right? I was in a conversation this week and I'm like, can you send me some examples, right? And I despise every time that they ask me that question. And I'm like, look, what we do is completely custom. Like, what is your dream scenario in your head? Like, what do you want it to look like, right? And it's like, make it happen. And besides, that's just a feature of what we offer, right? Like, and we were talking about the podcasting sides, right? Is the podcast the thing? I'm like, no, the podcast is a feature in the entire universe of Content Momentum. There's so much more, right? And then we start painting these stories on how our content has evolved, right? Our clients' content has evolved from just like, let's say, design to a little bit different, right? On how we present it, but at the end of the day, it's different features and elements that are included, right? So it was funny because like we had this whole conversation, and the guy was like, I asked him, I'm like, well, how much are you happy with what you currently do, right? And he went through it and he's like, no, I'm not happy. This is why I'm having the conversation with you, right? And I'm like, sounds good. Like, do you mind me asking, like, how much are you paying for your monthly service? And he goes like, $150 a month. And I'm like, well.
That might be why. That might be why you're not happy.
That might be like one of the reasons, right? And you just like explain all these issues, right? Like, and one of our packages that we were talking to him is at least 10 times more than that, right? And it's like, okay, but that thing that you are talking to me about is a feature. There's these elements that we can talk to. So I love that because it's a different method, right? It's not that, it's Content Momentum, and what does that mean? What are the results, right? And then we go back to the stories and we walk backwards. So I love the way that you presented it.
And when they question you on a feature, so we know from marketing that you turn a feature into a benefit. And if you're really savvy, you go from feature to benefit to outcome, right? But when somebody questions a feature and they're doing that, because I mean, custom flooring, right? Well, I mean, what about like colors? What colors do you, whatever color, right? So then the question, when it becomes a feature objection, you understand what is the outcome that they desire from that objection. So but is it going to look? I need you to send me some samples so that I know it's going to look exactly how I want it to look. Cool. So why is it important? What's important for you to get it exactly the way that you want it to look? Understand if they're a control freak or if they're going, well, I want it to be successful. Okay, so you want it to be, I need it to represent my brand and get me more sales. Understand what is it from that feature that they're getting to the objection so that you can say, well, listen, this is the outcome that we're going to provide, and we are not going to settle. We're not going to rest. We're not going to stop adjusting the way that it looks until you're getting this outcome. Yeah. Are you okay with that? Yeah. Because other than sending you the multitude of samples of infinite to make sure we get it right for you, I would rather make sure that we're answering the right question. So is that what you're really looking for? Yes, it is. And so then, and that's the other part of not chasing clients and never competing on price, is I want you to look, when you're going for a provider, I want you to go and look for the person who's asking you the best and the most questions. I want you to look for that person that's making you think about what you really want, because sometimes when we're not professionals, we ask for what we think we want when it's not what we need, right? And so those are just some tips on that.
We're just gonna grab that, and every time they ask that question, we're just gonna send them that clip and be like, "Can you answer this question?" And we're good to go.
Yeah. So. what I love about this part right here is you're digging into the core issue, right? The core why of why they're asking these questions, right? And I honestly never put it that way when they ask, especially in this part of the examples. Like, why is it that you want to see these examples, right? And just why just dig deeper, and eventually they're gonna tell you their core problem, and that's the one that you focus then when you're having that conversation. I think that is a a very, very powerful piece of information right there.
Golden boulder alert! Golden boulder alert! Just saying, it just dropped. You got your helmet?
We need the helmets.
We need the helmets, Fonzie.
Yeah.
Did you order the helmets?
And yeah, fun fact, we're gonna get some helmets. So every time people drop golden boulders, we just like put them on.
Put them on.
It might be coming for the new show. Ooh, teaser alert! What? Dude, so I have another question, kind of that from the very beginning. Since when I was writing the intro for this show, and it was the advocate of awesome, right? Like, where did that came from? Where did that come from?
Where's your English going?
Yeah, sorry, it's language barrier. I was gonna say
language barrier. Wow,
language barrier. Yeah, sometimes it gets complicated. But Nathan, I'm curious, where did that come from? I mean, I definitely see you are absolutely amazing and awesome. But how did that get started, and why the community around it?
So the way it got started is actually with Devon. And and it was two ways. He invited me to a really awesome mastermind group that I would go to, and I didn't feel at the caliber of the people in the room. So they'd go around, they'd introduce themselves, and he would say, I'm Devon, I do awesome stuff. You know what I mean? And because he had, he had his confidence. And so I'd be like, I'm with Devon. I help him do awesome stuff. You know what I mean? And it was kind of like that. And then after working with Devon for a while, you already know he's multi-talented, right?
Yes,
well,
incredible.
When he hired me, we were building a men's dating niche, a women's dating niche, an entrepreneur niche, and a self-development niche. And we were building out the funnels for all of it, the content, the upsells, the email sequences. I wrote 4 soap opera sequences that were like, 2 of them were game shows. They were like the coolest thing ever that's never launched. And that's kind of the problem, right? When you like, instead of niching down, like we all want to niche down, or we know we're supposed to, and then it's like, well, but there's all these people I can serve. And honestly, Devon can serve all of them equally as well if you hear all the stories that I've heard. But like at some point, it was I felt like you can't have 4 niches on one website. Like, what the heck are we doing here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it took a while. It took a while for me to be able to get to a position where I could really say, hey, listen, I want to try something different. So we did that, and we dug into his values. We dug into who he is. We dug into all the things that I just wanted to get clarity on. And then from there, we got what he was going to MC an event, and kind of the theme of the event was having a through line. And that's what made him open up his eyes to like, maybe there's no through line to all these 4 things. I'm like, I've been trying to say it. that event that he was going to opened up his eyes to it. And so we were able to do it. Well, throughout a lot of different exercises, a lot of work, we took 4 different niches and turned it to the headline that's still on his website today. Well, I mean, is helping people create life on their terms in a fun and entertaining way. And it was because that, like, it was he gives practical insights. That's everything he's doing, even at an event, not an event. It's helping people, hey, this is how you can get the most out of this. This is how you can create the life that you want. So when we were able to put that golden thread and find his through line that made everything else make sense. You could talk about women's dating. You can talk about men's dating. You can talk about entrepreneurship through the lens of these are what I learned to create the life that I want. Right. And so when you can do that, when you can come up with this through line where you understand all your different things, it's an amazing experience. And the way that people own that is through their stories, through telling their stories and me telling them back, like we talked earlier about having that editor. Yep. And so through that experience, and then I went to Funnel Hacking Live in 2019, and I was just doing my thing, just checking on people. What are you into? What do you love? Like, because I just want to, I want to help. I want to know what you're passionate about, and I want to help you communicate that to the people that you want to help. Right? I want to take these people that want to help and connect them with the people that need the help. That's what I'm trying to do. And so, and before at that point, Devon had just helped me step into that and let me know that the most valuable thing I'd done for him in 3 years was helping him with that through line, was being his advocate of awesome and uncovering what his awesome is and helping him to communicate it. And so when I went to Funnel Hacking Live, I was like, yeah, I'm professional advocate of awesome for Devon Brown, right? Because everyone knew him at the event, and that's just where. And then from that, it evolved, and that's where it came from.
And that's so good. While Fonzie swallows his water, I'm gonna step in here. I love the thread, right? Because sometimes when we're starting as entrepreneurs, there's so many opportunities, right? And even when we continue the journey, like in my head right now, there's like 5 different ideas that we're like, at some point we want to tackle them, and then it's so hard to choose that one that could get some traction, right? And then it's hard work, right? But I love the fact that you presented that, and you're like, okay, what is the thread that will help me get there, and you guys figure it out, like, and you said after a lot of work. So I wanna just paint the picture. It is a lot of work for those listening. Please put in the work, right? Is not, there's no secret sauce. Like we talked in other shows, like there's not a button that you click and you're like online money coming in our bank accounts. Like we have to put in the work to make sure that happens consistently, and it's all a process, right? And that is probably a necessary step to that process. The same thing happened with us when we launched the service. Like we have 7 different things, call it niches, right? That each one of them was their own individual thing, right? And we're like, okay, and we talked about this with Chris Doe, right? Like, and Chris was telling us about the column, right? Like you build on a column, you're like your one thing, right? And then from that you can start like having these little things that are gonna be coming up, but that first column has to be so solid, which is the thread that you mentioned, which is content momentum for us, right? And right now we're in conversations with different partners, different people that have been introduced into our world. A common need, podcasting. Everybody's like, do you guys produce a podcast? And we're like, no, that's not our thing. Well, guess what? Spoiler alert, we do now. Somebody, came on board, and they're going to do that, right? Because it came from the feedback that we've been talking about. But the thread was there. The thread was there to grab momentum, grab that traction initially, like your headline and the advocate of awesome and all this awesome stuff. So I don't know, Fonzie, if you have anything else to comment there.
I mean, I think it goes back to the listening to people, right? And listening to feedback. It's just a constant communication. And I feel like sometimes we just get too into our own head, and we think we have all the answers immediately, and we want the answers immediately, but it's a process, right? You're not gonna nail your messaging on the first try. It's gonna take a few iterations for you, right? Like we're still in that iteration for content momentum, right? We tried a bunch of stuff. I actually just wrote one here as we were talking too. Like it's always in my mind, like how can we position ourselves in a different way, right? Not just better. So I love the story because it just exemplifies that. Yep.
Well, so I was going to say, one thing that I learned in copywriting a long time ago, that it's a challenge, but it's what can you say that nobody else can possibly say? So that's not better service.
Yep.
That's not faster. Anybody can say that. What can you say? So if you have, Amazon, if they talk about their square footage of warehouse space, right? There's different things that your business has, like your teams that you're building, your content hub that you created. That's something that nobody else can say. Nobody else has this thing that you created. So when you know that, when you understand these are the things, when you make a list, these are the things that nobody else can say in this space and in this industry. Those are leverage points for you to communicate value.
I love it. I think one of our differentiator ones would be two brothers with the same name.
that's for the show specifically.
Yeah, but that one seems to resonate with people. But I agree with you, and I'm gonna repeat that phrase you said. What can you say that nobody else could possibly say? I think that is a very powerful kind of like prompt for you to work on, sit down, and just start giving answers. Sometimes we just don't sit down and give ourselves the time to think, and often that's just the one thing that we need to do. We're just on a go. So before we transition into the last couple questions, the last one was, where did the need for the squad came from, right? Like, when did you decide that I want to build a community around this, and why? Why is it that you put this group of people together?
So, I mean, the thing is anything you're trying to do, right? Community is what moves you. Community, it's just, honestly, I'll tell you, honestly, I got on Clubhouse. I found out about it in beta in January. And I was like, oh, apps are, here's a new thing. It's social audio. Like maybe I can get in early and I can get a whole bunch of followers and I can teach people my marketing. And and it was, anytime there's a new platform, there's an opportunity for free organic traffic, right? And that gets limited more and more the older the platform. And so I just knew that it was going to be there. And then, and I decided, okay, well, I'm early. I'm never early on things. So I'm just going to commit. I'm going to commit to showing up Monday through Friday. And it was, and really, it was the craziest thing because my first room was what's your why? Share your story. Because marketing, right? Like your why is the most important thing and the story behind that why. No one cares what you know until they know how much you care. You've heard that before, but no one knows how much you care until they know why you care. So that's how you tell them. That's how you get that across. So that's what I thought I was going to be doing, was helping people with that story. But what's your why can trigger things that are out of your control. And so it built out, without getting into that, it just, this community movement started happening. And then, but I am always going to be talking about messaging, marketing, leveling up in your life and business so that you can give your gift away. And so the AOA is actually, in that context, is the alchemy of awesome, right? And turning your gifts into gold so that you have more left over to give to the people you love, the people you serve, and the causes you care most about. And so that's where it came from is again, there's people that want to help and there's people that aren't. How can we come together and help each other level up, step into the next level of our highest and best so we can give our gifts away at scale, at bigger levels? And so it's that, and then the one more thing about squad and why we say squad, not tribe, because tribes go to war and tribes fight each other, and squads come together. Tribes fight, squads come together to lift each other up and get something done, right? So that's why we squad up. And this is the other thing that I think is really important and kind of unrelated, but so important for anybody trying to level up in life. When you try and get to that next level, people in your life, friends, family, are going to accidentally try and hold you down. It's not their fault. It's that when you grow, when you change, the way that they can manipulate you changes. And so they lose control over you. So people subconsciously that love you want to keep you in the box that they're comfortable in, that they're familiar with. And so if you're trying to level up rapidly or over and over again, you need to surround yourself with people who are comfortable with your change, who want to see you change, who are going to encourage that. The people that love you, they will come around that new version of you. They will adapt to it. But if you don't have somebody to support you in becoming that, it can be a lot harder to step into that. And so that is why squad, how it developed and why it's so important are kind of two different things. But that's why we have it, and that's what we're there to do. Help each other level up in life and business over and over again.
Take your helmets out, guys. Whoa, wrong button. Which one is the golden boulder?
Come on, bro. There we go.
Bro. But you gotta stand in ovation too, man.
Yeah.
That was absolutely amazing. I love the whole squad. Surrounding your people that support your growth. I absolutely love it. I want to be part of it. So, where can people join that? First of all, how can people join the squad?
Yeah, so right now we're on Clubhouse every Monday through Friday. It's been starting at 9 Central, but we're actually about to go to 8 Central and keep it going for the 2 hours just because people are starting their day earlier, and that's what people are asking for, right? It was different in COVID. We're also going to be opening it up to a Discord and a bunch of other stuff. We've got just real quick, this is something that came out of it. A week from today, I will be at a cabin in North Georgia doing the first ever AOA advancement, right? This Dr. D's birthday bash, and 8 of us are getting together in a cabin to help each other level up our businesses and then also figure out what's next with the AOA. And all 8 or 10 people that are showing up are 100% people I met on Clubhouse through this community. So there's going to be some exciting advancements coming. I'm not sure what they are, but you can definitely come hang out with us every Monday through Friday.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, we're going to leave all the links right below so people can just like scroll down and click there and join
the squad.
Join the squad. Last couple of questions, Nathan, as we wrap up the show.
Wait, before you go there. Nathan, I think...
You said before you go there like 5 times now.
I know.
Come on, Fonzie.
It's okay.
Come on, Fonzie.
Nathan, I'm just going to say you need a live AOA show, that you can do. Maybe you can do it as you're doing the Clubhouse too. I think that would be absolutely amazing. I see you connecting with Glenn Lundy. I think that would be a powerful connection too. I don't know if you're familiar with him. We had him on the podcast. I don't remember the episode number right now, but he has one of he has Facebook biggest morning show. He starts at like 5 a.m. And he goes live and he has a bunch of people tuning in. His energy is amazing. I think you two would be a great match.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm definitely going to check it out. Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Nathan, I know we don't want this to end, but you guys both declined my 24-hour marathon idea. What would be something that people or business owners, right, and content creators can do today, right, to get traction on messaging and their content?
Yeah. So the number one thing is what is the primary promise for your product, service, and for the client, right? What is this primary promise? Understand what it is that they really want, and then what are the beliefs that they need to believe in that promise, right? And just that, right? If you know your market, if you know who you serve, what is it that they're looking for? What is it that they're looking for most? It's not the easiest thing to do, but it's the most important thing, right? Russell has the big domino, right? It's why Evaldo Albuquerque is an award-winning, he did like $120 million in 2 years as a copywriter for Agora. And English is his second language, right? So that's really impressive. He says the biggest determining thing in making all those extra $100 million was this idea of a singular belief, right? That one belief. And so that's the thing is really just focusing down on what is this core belief that I can promise and I can deliver in a way that no one else can deliver. So honestly, that wasn't a great answer to your question, but it's the most important thing that anyone can do.
I think it's very powerful, by the way. I don't remember the name of Evaldo, that's his name. I don't remember the name of his book. I read it. We have it right here. It's really good. Oh, he's gonna go. He's getting it.
I knocked the camera. I knocked the camera trying to show.
Yes,
so I definitely have it.
The 16 World Sales Letter. It's a great book, and he has some really cool stories. The way he just like shares the ideas is so easy to understand, and it's a book that you can immediately also start applying to your content, right? But to kind of repeat what you said, Nathan, what is that promise, and then what is the belief they need to believe so they can? What is it? What is the belief they need to believe in that promise, right? And I think it's very important because once you have that, you can start building around it, right? And you start grabbing the stories that you need to transition people again to these beliefs. And that just gives you, honestly, like an endless stream of content ideas, right? When we talk about content is profit.
And the way that you look at it is across the buyer's journey. At each step of the journey, what do they need to believe to take the next step, right? So if I'm going to raise my hand and say I'm interested, that's a different belief than I'm ready to buy, right? And so if you look at that, if you understand, the more you understand your buyer's journey, you can break your message across each step of that buyer's journey so that you can understand, okay, these are where people are at this step. And so let's get them to believe these things. And so if you map that out, if you understand that, not only will you be able to move people effortlessly to making a sale, but you will have infinite possibilities for content, because they need different content at each stage of that buyer's journey, right? Yeah. And that's why what you guys do is so powerful, because you're breaking up this content not only based on platform, but based on the message that needs to be delivered at the right time, so that people can actually take action. And honestly, like, if you're trying to do that yourself, if you're trying to figure out all the ways to break up your, like, your customer, your client, what beliefs, the content. But if you're really trying to figure out how to break it up and do it all, you're going to end up in a whirlwind of confusion, not doing what you do best. So, I mean, that's why, we tried to do it for a long time with Devon, and we ended up having to pull together a whole bunch of people, and then you got to invent this whole system and this whole process. So stick to what you do best, which is helping people and giving your gift away, and know your customer so that you can help them as much as you can. And the things that are outside of that, get whoever else is amazing to do it. Like our friends right here.
Appreciate it, Nathan, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the kind words.
Yeah, thank you for the kind words. I'm loving this conversation. We can definitely do the 24-hour marathon one day. We're gonna have to bring you back and Devon, both of you together. That'll be great for the new type of show that we are creating. I'm so excited. That'll be amazing.
Yeah. We stop sharing.
I'm not sharing. I'm teasing.
Yeah. And the last question is, where will you be if you did not publish, right? If you don't put your message out there, in whatever platform, your favorite platform, right? Where will you be?
Where will I be? Mm-hmm. I'm over on IG, right? Advocate of Awesome. That's where I'm producing most of my content. I'll be over on YouTube. I'm diverse. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now. I told you it's been years. I've been the Advocate of Awesome for 3 years, and I've been able to help people. But the number of people that I'm able to help is in direct correlation to the amount of content that I get out there, and the number of people that understand and believe that I really can help them. So I'm out there on IG, but I need to get out there more and more. So, but that's where you can find me most right now.
Sweet. So sorry. I think I've asked the wrong question.
My brother definitely asked the wrong question. You butchered it right there.
So yeah, I totally did. I'm just so nervous, Nathan. You're so good. So no, okay. Where would you be if you did not publish? Like if publishing wasn't a part of your life or your business?
Yeah. Then it's not. Then literally, you don't exist. I mean, that's where you are. You're nowhere. If you don't publish, if you're not out there with content, then you don't exist in your space. So I don't know how else to put it.
Simple but beautiful. I appreciate it, Nathan.
Yeah.
Now, where can people find you?
Yeah, sorry I messed that up. But
no. It was definitely Fonzi's fault.
It was this guy over here.
Yeah, pick a bro.
I know. I tried to clarify the question. Like I knew there was something about that in there. But anyway, so I'm on IG at Advocate of Awesome, and that's the best place to get with me. I'm in Clubhouse every day, but I'm there on IG. Reach out, DM. I love to connect with you. Anyone who's passionate about helping people step into the next level of life and business, I'm passionate about helping you help more people. So I'd love to talk to you.
Let's go. Yeah, we're going to leave all the links in the description below. So make sure you scroll down, tap them, join, follow, subscribe. Just do any of those call to actions in social media. Join his email newsletter if you got one. Join the Clubhouse. Anything. You know, send them a nice gift in the mail too if you guys want. Don't worry, we're not gonna put your mailing address in the description.
Yeah. Nathan, where anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
Yeah, just that I believe that we each are a gift to the world, right? And we fill that gift through the businesses that we build, serve, and scale. And there's a hole in the universe that only you can fill, and it's up to you to choose to fill it. And I hope that you will step into that role and be the gift that you're meant to be. That's it.
Love it.
Thank you so much, Nathan.
Yeah. With that said, Thank you guys so much for tuning into the Content is Profit podcast. Go ahead and follow the show on your favorite platform and on social media at BIZBROS Co.
That is right. And if today's guests help you get one step closer to your goal, please don't forget to share it because you might be doing the exact same for somebody else. And don't forget to leave a 5-star review. See ya.
Bye, guys.